Late last spring, headed into the summer, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act of 2020, commonly known as the CARES Act of 2020, was signed into law by Congress to support a variety of industries affected by COVID-19, including the public transit industry. The CARES Act provides for $25 billion in funding for public transit industry in response to COVID-19 across the United States. Out of the CARES Act formula funding that was provided across the U.S., the Montgomery urbanized area was allocated $7.6 million for public transit recovery, relief, and economic security purposes. Of the $7.6 million, as the mayor said, $6,578,081.87 has been set aside for the city of Montgomery for the public transit system. This funding is for 100% funding for grant projects that we will deliver, meaning that the city won't have to pay for anything because this is a 100% grant with no matching funds required. Expenses can be incurred before grant funding has been received prior to the grant award, and funds will be available until they're expended with no lapse date. So we don't have an ending date in this particular funding. The grant for this funding has been applied for through the Federal Transit Administration, which is the federal agency that this transit system and all other transit systems across the country receive funding for by formula purposes. So we've started that process of getting that grant actually applied for with our staff, and it will take roughly about 3 to 6 month time frame before we get to the point of executing that grant. The grant details, and the mayor has outlined some, and I'm going to go over those in detail by line item. The first particular item is for operating assistance. This will be $2,648,082, and this will be for operating assistance, emergency relief. The total federal share for this is $2.1 million, which will be used for our fixed bus route system, as well as our disabled paratransit to offset any budget overruns or revenue shortfalls caused by the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, including $491,000 in hazard pay, incentive pay for our frontline transit workers and employees that have performed work during the COVID-19 pandemic. Each transit employee will be paid an additional $3 per hour for work performed since the COVID-19 pandemic started, until we basically exhaust all of these funds. Also, replacement of fixed route buses at $1,900,000. That'll be 5 buses that we will replace to replace buses that have reached or exceeded their useful life in years and miles. Estimated cost per bus will be $380,000. Also, the replacement of disabled paratransit buses for those people that are disabled that we serve, 6 buses at $330,000, and that'll be an estimated cost of $55,000 per bus. And this will be ADA compliant and will be accessible for 2 wheelchairs per bus. Microtransit buses, 3 microtransit buses at $165,000, and this will be to purchase and enhance public transit service in the East Montgomery area by providing an alternative on-demand ride-hailing system that'll provide greater frequencies and also reducing overall trip times. As we're standing right here, it'll be many similar to this, bus shelters and other related amenities at $500,000, and so we'll purchase an additional 15 bus shelters and other amenities such as seating, benches, trash receptacles, solar enhancements, lightings, bike racks, and the maintenance and repair of other existing shelters. Also, capital maintenance at a cost of $125,000. This will be for spare engines and transmissions and shop equipment for the actual transit system itself. Next on the list is the purchase of a bus washer, which includes a water reclamation system for a total of $500,000, and this will replace the current bus washer that the transit system has that has exceeded its life in useful life, that's inoperable and obsolete, so we'll replace that. As the mayor mentioned, West Fairview Avenue transit station improvements. There's a transit station about a half a block down from here at Fairview and Mobile Road, where we need to make some needed improvements there. That'll be an estimated $100,000 for building upgrades to extend the life of that transit station, which was originally built in the year 1994. Downtown Intermodal Transportation Center improvements at $100,000 for security upgrades. Our downtown intermodal transportation facility was built in 2007, and so that was an $18 million facility back then, and it's in need of some security upgrades. So we'll upgrade those enhancements at $100,000. Purchase and replace supervisor vehicles at $100,000, which this will replace old and worn out vehicles that supervisors that supervise the system all over the city that they drive in. These will be replaced at $100,000. And last but not least, preventative maintenance expenses as needed and required for $110,000, and this will be for the purchase on an as needed basis to maintain the bus system, fleet system, equipment for items that are $5,000 and above. And the grand total, as the mayor already said, $6,578,082 in CARES Act funding. And in closing, we look forward to seeing all these improvements starting to happen and be completed so that we can continue to see our public transit system grow and improve and be a beacon of light that we know that it can be. And I just want to say thank you to Mayor Reed and his administration for being fully committed to the public transit system and having the vision and foresight to see this through. Thank you.